All right, Sabrina, I've got all of my beverages. I have 4 different beverages in front of me. I have chocolate in front of me, and I have an embarrassing thing that happened to me recently. So I feel like I'm ready for podcast.
I cannot wait. What is the embarrassing thing that happened to you? Please, for the love of God, tell me.
Oh my God. Like, it's not a new thing. This is definitely out of the Melody's greatest hits, kind of repertoire, right?
Okay.
But it is shameful because of what it is and how long it's been. All right. So I'm not good at lyrics. I experience music and I don't think about it at all. And then if we're in the car and the radio is on, if I'm actually listening to a song or I choose to put on an album or whatever, I listen to it and I really take it in. But if it's just ambient, I don't, it's just background and then we move on with our whole lives. Exactly. Okay. So we're in the car listening to the radio. Katy Perry is trilling over our speakers. And Valor says, "What's this song called?" And Michael was like, "I think it's called E.T." And so I was sitting there very quietly. And then they were like, "Why E.T.?" And he's like, "Well, right here. Extraterrestrial." Like she says it right there. And then I got very quiet. And Michael felt the shift in my energy. And he was like, "Hey, Mel, what'd you think it was?"
You didn't know that E.T. stood for extraterrestrial?
I've never known the title of the song. And every time it said extraterrestrial, I thought it was saying, ex treacherous trio. it's a betrayal threesome. I don't know. I thought it was mean? I don't know. I was like, Katy Perry's just so poetic. It's just a dangerous
What did you think the movie E.T. was about?
I mean, no, I know what E.T. I didn't know the name of the song. I just heard for 12 years. I just heard Katy Perry. Also didn't know it was
treacherous trio.
Yeah. You're having a trio with your ex and weird shit's happening. And then, so I tell him that.
You're so flexible. Do you do yoga?
How dare you? So then he's like, "Melody, you of all people, you're the alien fucker. This is your anthem," he says to me.
That was about to be what I was going to say. I was like, I found alien romance through you. How do you, ma'am?
And then I looked up the lyrics, and it turns out this song is about alien sex. I didn't know. It's about doing it with an alien. It's our anthem. And for the last dozen years, I have been deprived of this knowledge. That is a jam, I would say. Don't you think?
I love that song. I do love that song. I listen to it semi-regularly.
Okay. Listener, I wish you could see Sabrina's face because she is just as horrified as everyone should be.
I'm not horrified. That's a level beyond.
No, but it is baffling though, right? To me, it's baffling.
I don't understand why ex treacherous trio made sense though. Specifically.
It didn't. Because Michael asked me too, and I was like, I don't know. It's just sounded.
Although to be fair, I fully understand a song that you just kind of vibe to, and even if you know all the lyrics, you don't ever analyze.
You never actually think about it.
Yeah.
Okay. Wow. I'm so sorry, listener. We are off topic, but I'm actually not sorry at all.
Pretty sure that all of this is pretty on topic.
That's fair. This is a common HB experience, I feel like. And now we have a new anthem. A new, old, very old anthem. Okay, listen. We're here to talk about Cowboys, though. I don't have a good segue into Cowboys. But I don't need one. It's Cowboy time. We're going to rope him in. I know, it's terrible.
Rope them. He doesn't even.
Yeah, he does. He does barrel raisins and other stuff that is cowboy times. We don't ever see a rope, though, that I actually know of.
No, they do talk about it when he's doing his trick pony stuff, how they do the thing where they have to, but he doesn't do the thing. He just makes his horse kiss people.
I love that, by the way. Wow.
I do too.
What a fucking hero. Steve the horse. Making Steve the horse
fucking
give people smackaroos on the cheek.
Any animal just named a human name like that. Like the guy who does your accounting. That. I love those animals.
Same. Yeah.
Hank,
no, Steve the horse is great.
Come here.
Hank the gerbil.
Kim.
Kim. I can't.
Grace. Like anything that
is Grace the potbelly pig.
Karen.
I feel like it. Karen's a snake.
Gary's a goat. You can't convince me otherwise.
To be a goat. No, I support that. I think it's a pygmy goat even. Oh my God, we're watching One Piece and they have a masthead right now that's a ram, which is different from a goat. I understand that. Do not come at me, listener. But it is goat adjacent, I think I would say.
I would agree with that.
We need to talk about Rebekah.
No, you have to finish your ram story now, bitch. You can't.
I did.
Oh.
He has a ram on the mast of his ship. That's the thing. That's like his mermaid is a ram head.
You were going down a whole thing. I thought you had a story. No. I was ready. I got goat stories.
Which we will talk about later.
No, we won't.
Maybe we'll talk about the goat stories on our Patreon when we do the next 2 books in this series.
We won't remember, but I appreciate the thought. So anyway, so we read the first in Cowboys of California called A Cowboy to Remember by Rebekah motherfucking Weatherspoon. And this was a goddamn delight.
It was start to finish, goddamn delight. And I would argue the tropes that she combined together is one of the hardest combinations to pull off. That is second chance plus amnesia. How are you going to have the angst of a second chance if one of them cannot remember what happened? She did it. It's incredible.
Oh, yeah, this is an angsty AF book.
Yeah. Yeah, but still
so good.
Perfect.
It was also like, it was, okay, I'm not going to say an angsty AF because it was like, there was some angst, but it was like fluffy angst.
Yeah. Absolutely. Mm-hmm.
Also, when I realized at the end that the book was only like, it was like 250 max.
Oh.
I was like, how did you
do all of that?
So much.
Like, especially with like all the family she had to set up.
And
because
character building.
And and basically the heroine was 2 different characters. One when she had her memory and one when she didn't. And like, I read this in audio and the voice actor was incredible. She actually used 2 different voices for the heroine, depending on whether or not she had her memory.
That's good because like she's 2 different people in the book. Like when she got her memory back, like spoiler alert, but like when she got her memory back, people noticed she had her memory back because she was a completely different, and like same thing. Like when they walked into her hospital room, they were like, "Oh my God, what's wrong with you? You seem different." And she was like, "Who are you?" And I was like, "Fuck." Dude, straight up this book though, this is like the first amnesia romance I've read that like, it just made me think of, in a really sad way, my grandma who had like Alzheimer's and was like forgetting things. And I was like, it hurt. I was like, fuck. Yeah. Like, cause like so many amnesia books just kind of brush past the fact that this person has amnesia and they know that they should remember things, but they just don't. Let me tell you, Rebekah did not shy away from that in this book. Sometimes it was really hard to read.
Yeah, no. I texted you. Sometimes I felt like I had amnesia. Because I feel like she captured just like the bewilderment that people must feel.
Well, and like
in like such a good way.
And I love that like this was like full amnesia. She remembered nothing if it was not like if it wasn't muscle memory, she had no idea. She had to learn how to use a cell phone.
Right.
She had to learn how to turn on a stove. She had to learn
everything.
And I was like, well, all right, that's just real high on the list of worst fears.
Oh no, have we unlocked another Sabrina fear?
Maybe. This, like, if anything, if I've learned anything through podcasting, it's that I'm a lot more scared than I used to think that I was. I've been actually thinking about this lately, and this book is one of the reasons. Is so most of what I read up until I started podding was just cruising.
Yeah.
I would just tear through shit. And then now that I'm actually having to think and be like, oh, this is something to make a note of. This is something to make a note of. Like, now that I'm like taking notes and thinking a little bit more critically, well, thinking critically when I'm not whimsying away. Woo, boy, howdy. It is.
Yeah.
Yeah, there's a lot of stuff.
It teaches you shit about yourself.
And I know that it does, because I'll read a romance and I'm like, ooh, that hit me right in the...
Yeah.
But like...
Yeah.
Whew.
Yeah.
So like now all of a sudden my brain's like, are you ready for a new anxiety? We found one.
You'd think we were a true crime podcast or something.
Yeah.
A new anxiety unlocked.
Boy, howdy.
Okay, so we have Evie, and should I tell them who the hero is?
Evie Buchanan.
Okay, yeah. Should I tell them who the hero is, or should we let them figure it out like I had to while live texting you?
We can do whatever you want, because they'll have one of each other's experiences. For once in my life, I walked into this book, and the minute the minute the hero showed up on page, I was like, oh, this is it. This is him. That's why when you were texting me, I was like, Melody.
I could hear the pity in your text.
I mean, at least you got to deal with your own shame privately. I had to deal with the shame of realizing that the murderer was the murderer on the bride live on podcast. At least you got to go lick your wounds in private. I just got split open. Fucking.
Listen, regardless, where Sherlock Holmes is now.
Actually, you know what? I am very curious how you didn't realize that he was the hero. So we're going to go your way, and you're going to walk me through. All
right, fair. So we've got Evie, and she's a chef, and she's a TV chef. She's been on two different.
She's called the Culinary Princess of New York.
Yeah. Like, wowza, I would say to that.
Mm-hmm. Although it sounds like based on the way some people talk, it wasn't a nice thing.
I think it's definitely mixed. Yeah.
Maybe some of her fans reclaimed it, but like, I think that it originally came from a place of mean.
Ooh, really? Oh, yeah.
Yeah, just the way that they talked about it. But anyway, I think that some of her not fans who had a problem with her, because she, just to give a little bit of backstory, she's the first Black chef to win a cooking competition, which is how she got really, really famous. And so people, unsurprisingly, were fucking assholes about
Targeted her. Yeah.
Because how dare somebody who is not white win a cooking competition? That's improbable. Anyway.
Okay, so right now she's at a Christmas party because she has won 2 cooking competitions, and now she's like a morning show host as a chef. And she's going into like season 2, and it's a big coup for her. And so there's like, there's a bunch of Christmas ambiance, and she's having a really hard time with it because her grandmother fucking loved Christmas.
Nana Buck.
Nana Buck, and she died about 10 years ago. And like, Evie didn't know her parents. They died when she was really, really young. And so her grandmother raised her on this like ranch out in California.
In charming California.
In charming California, ma'am, Ms. Weatherspoon. It's perfect. So she has to take a minute because she's just getting a little bit overwhelmed by her memories. So her agent is like, go into the stairwell, like just take a sec. She's like, great. So she goes out into the stairwell, and who does she see as she's coming down?
Before Lady gets there, because this broke my heart, is Evie is already questioning herself at the very beginning of the book. Like, she is questioning everything that has brought her to this point. And like, I highlighted it where she said this was what she wanted. She'd given up everything she had to get this far. She just didn't think this place would feel so lonely. And so she's already at a point where she's like, was it worth it?
Yeah. Is this what I've been working towards? Yeah. Ooh, absolutely. Well, especially since we know at the end, she was willing to go about it a different way. Sir, it's fine. We're fine. We'll get there when we get there. Okay. So she's going down this stairwell, and who's coming up but Melanie Bitchface
Fuckwad.
Yeah, thank you so much. And she's like, grade A asshole. Was on one of the cooking shows with her.
Well, she was on the same cooking show that Evie won, and she's extra pissed probably because the runner up to that competition was also black. Yeah. And she was terrible to both of them. Like, Melanie is just, oh my God, I apologize in advance if I accidentally say Melody instead of Melanie.
You're fine.
Know that I mean Melanie. I almost just left my mouth and I was like, you are not bitch face McFuckwad. I love you.
Thank you. I love you too.
Yeah, so bitch face McFuckwad though.
Yeah.
While Evie is walking back down the stairs, they have a little bit of a back and forth chat, and then Evie is being the bigger person, and she is like, I'm not playing. But she does finally about this.
Yeah, she does finally like snap a little bit for the first time when bitchface McFuckwad goes after her friend Tiffany. And so she's like, you're not allowed to say shit like that about her. Like, stop it right now. And then she's like, you know what? I'm leaving. If she was a Black Dagger brother, she would say, I'm outie. And then she turns
this isn't
to
off
go
the
down
chain,
the stairs.
Melanie.
It's not. We're firmly on the chain.
you know what? Bitchface McFuckwad is off the chain about some things, and it's called pushing a bitch down the stairs.
She pulls a... Oh no, I lost it.
The owl in the staircase. What is that?
No,
crime show?
No, that's a good one too. No, the stair is called The Staircase. No, I'm thinking.
What did I say? The owl. Isn't that one of the there's theories? An owl in there. That an owl.
Yeah. One of the totally wrong theories. Yeah.
I'm a true crime aficionado.
Showgirls. Oh my God. She does a big showgirls on her and pushes her down the stairs. It's wow.
It's whacked.
It's whacked. Is exactly right.
It's whacked.
And one of the things I found really interesting about this book is that it goes between her perspective, her agent's perspective, and his perspective. And I think that's it for right now. And I can't remember when I've seen that, like recently, in like more recent romance novels.
I have just recently had that experience.
Really?
Because this book sent me down a rabbit hole.
Oh, I love a rabbit hole.
And one of the books I read, one of the main points of view, even more than Nicole, which is her agent, whatever.
Yeah.
You're in the younger sister's point of view in that book.
Whoa.
And it's a country western historical rom-com. And to be clear, it was fucking hysterical.
Okay, great. That's
hard
perfect.
Recommend. But
what's it called?
Oh, Kit McBride Gets a Wife.
Oh,
I think her name's Amy Berry is the author, but I read the first book and I was like, damn, I don't remember the last time I read something that had like more than just the couple's perspective. And now I've read like 4 of them in a row. Like between, like I've been on a weird unintentional binge of them since reading this book. And I was like, huh. Anyway.
That's awesome. Yeah. So we find out that like they found her at the bottom of the stairs with a severe head wound. She like had to have surgery. She was in a coma. It's like bad. It's like we need to contact family bad. Yeah. What?
Full disclosure. Kit McBride Gets a Wife. Yeah. The most you get is a kiss and it's a slow burn. Oh. Just so if anybody goes in there, it is like the opposite. It's not even closed door. I just realized like who the listenership is. To be clear, there are no genitals.
I need a warning. Thank you. Thank you.
I'm so sorry that I cut you up. My brain was suddenly like, no, you have to tell.
No, that's red alert. That's DEFCON most extreme. Listener must know.
I still hard recommend it.
That's
it was
amazing.
still fucking great.
Yeah, that's
anyway.
A coup.
So yeah, let's go back to the bad head wound in the hospital.
Oh my God, yeah. And so she wakes up and she has literally no idea who she is. She does not. She has to be taught to tie her shoes again. Like it's bananas. And between Nicole and the BFF Blair and her assistant Raquel, they sort of like start talking about who they might need to contact, because if she can't get her memory back, they need to sort of hide her. Because they don't want anybody to know right now. And if she walks into somebody she's supposed to know and doesn't, like, holy fuck balls. But B, they think she might have been pushed because she hadn't been drinking that night. Like nothing would lead them to believe she would do a slip and fall.
Especially that she would be so injured. They're like, if she had slipped and
to go
fallen,
ass over tea kettle like that,
she would have caught
she would
herself
have gone
at some
booty
point.
down her stairs. Yeah.
Well, I don't know if she got, I'm not saying anything from experience, but tripping downstairs does not necessarily mean you're going booty down the stairs.
Okay.
Not that I know.
All right, you're right.
That.
No, also from no experience whatsoever. The only time I've ever gone down the stairs is on the booty, and I thank my lucky stars every day.
I suspect, not that I have any experience with that either.
That
the booty sucks. I feel like that would be painful on your tailbone, and that it would take probably a couple of weeks to be able to sit properly after falling down the stairs. But that's just a supposition. That's just a hypothesis.
No, totally,
just
absolutely.
a guess. I've never fallen down the stairs.
No, absolutely not. And
I've never fallen anywhere, frankly. I've never fallen in my life.
Well, thank you for lending your scientist brain to tell us how you think that would go.
Yep. Or just all.
I can't believe you're so knowledgeable, having no personal experience. So her assistant Raquel is like, I mean, she has one emergency contact, but it seemed to me that it should be like literally if she's dead.
Well, that's what Evie told Raquel. She was like, you are not supposed to call this person unless I am dead.
Yeah.
And Raquel's like, well, old Evie might be, essentially.
Yeah, she doesn't know who she is. So like, she is there's a rebirth happening. and like Evie she hasn't told them anything hardly about her past. Like they knew she grew up on a ranch, but like they don't know who this dude is. She doesn't talk about her parents. She doesn't talk about her grandma or her grandparents. Like she keeps that shit real close to the chest. Yeah, even with her best friend. So they're like, I guess we have to call this emergency contact. His name is Jesse Pleasant. Ms. Weatherspoon, I see you, and I adore you.
The puns in this book killed me.
Top notch. A+.
Zach, you're in jail. It's too good. You're in pun jail.
He must be stopped. It's too good.
Because he's also the only Pleasant who does it. He's the only Pleasant who like puns the shit out of his own name. And like, to be clear, if my last name was Pleasant, I would also pun the shit out of that. Do you know how many pickup lines I would have used in my early 20s? Do you know? Oh my God. I would have had a journal.
Been tearing it up with those
even more puns. So. Young Sabrina would have been unstoppable. And incorrigible and deeply inappropriate.
Absolutely. No, absolutely.
Anyway, so moving on. Evie can't remember her face. This is like to the extent she doesn't even recognize herself.
Yeah. She like looks at herself for the first time. She doesn't know that like she mostly wears contacts, but she has glasses. She doesn't know anything at all.
She just doesn't understand. Like she doesn't even know that she would need glasses. She just like, she's squinting around and they're like, do you need your glasses? And she's like, maybe. And then they put them on her and she's like, oh, I can see.
This is what it's like to see. That's bananas.
As somebody who wears contacts and glasses, Can you imagine waking up in the hospital, not being able to see, and just being like, is this the
thinking
world?
That's normal life.
This is just how life is?
Oh my God.
Nightmare.
Oh, big shudder. So she calls Jesse Pleasant, and Jesse and his brother Zach are both in the room, and they put it on speakerphone, and she tells them everything that's happened. And she's like, yes. And so they're both talking about.
This is when you figure it out.
Listen, how dare you?
I'm just checking.
It is admittedly toward the very end of this scene.
How the fuck, Melody?
I mean, my actual note is, okay, so he's the emergency contact, and Zach is like very befuddled about this. And Zach is like, why the fuck would Evie make you her emergency contact? Like, I don't understand. And he's like, I don't know, like, I'm not going to get into this or whatever, but I will be out in New York. I'll take the red eye tonight and I'll go out there for tomorrow morning. And Zach is like, I'm coming with you. And Jesse's like, I guess I can't stop you, but okay. And so she has also been having dreams, like, you know, very surreal dreams. And there's always a boy, and there's always this brown horse, and there's always scenes from a ranch. And then my note is in all caps because this is a second chance romance. Then my next note is the hero Jesse or Zach or Jesse? Def Zach. That's what.
So the point where the minute I knew it is like barely into the chapter where it says Zach's bedroom DVR was filled with episodes of the daytime cooking show, but he had only made it through one episode. And my note is clearly something has happened in the past and Zach has never gotten over Evie. This is definitely a second chance romance.
Listen, with Zach. I read it in audio. Sometimes things just, slip by.
Hey, there's a reason I cannot listen to audio for pod. I would get to the end of the book. I'd be like, was he a Eldritch horror? I can't remember. One of my most favorite lines in any fucking book. You know what? I say that, listener, you will hear that I have a lot of favorite lines. It's an endless list, truly. One of my most favorite lines, though, because we're going to meet her at some point. Or no, not wrong person. Nana Buck, who we've mentioned. We find out, I'm gonna spoil a little bit, because so Evie was in love with Zach when they were kids, right? She had a big old crush on him. He didn't realize, and they were all friends. And he's a couple years older. Yeah. And Zach didn't realize that Evie was into him. And then when he did realize, it was a whole thing. And it didn't happen in high school that their falling apart happened. It happened in their early 20s when she came back from school because her grandma died. But when Nana Buck realized what was going on and that Evie had a big ol' honking crush on him, she was like, basically told them that, like, hands off, you can't touch each other, you're both children. And the highlight is, teenagers were sex-crazed hormone monsters drawn together by the powerful magnets anchored in their genitals, according to Amelia Buchanan. And I was like,
so good.
Fuck, I have never heard anything more real in my life.
Yeah, it certainly paints an accurate portrait.
So yeah, and this will be a recurring thing because it comes up multiple times throughout the book. But Nana Buck put the fear of Nana Buck, which is stronger than the fear of God, into Zach.
Yeah.
About don't fucking touch her. Do not date her.
And don't mess with her. Don't.
She has a future. And you sticking your wick is not in it.
Yeah. Ooh, Nana Buck. Jeez, the imagery. Yeah. So Zach and Jesse go out there, and because Zach finds out that they've been friends for the past 10 years, and he's like, what the actual fuck, brother of mine? Why wouldn't you tell me about that? And he's like, you and her are none of my business. Like, we had a friendship outside of y'all, and like, you've never asked me about her. You've never done anything like that. So I don't know. I'm just leaving it alone.
Point to Jesse.
Yeah. And Zach is like, are you in love with her? And Jesse's like, get over yourself. Like, no, she's basically a baby sister. Knock it off. Yeah. Go to sleep on this plane, Zachary. So they go into the hotel room, and immediately Evie's like, OMG, that is the boy from my dreams. Literally, figuratively, like all the shit. And everybody's being really like stilted and formal and stuff. And Zach has like a weird momentary freak out. Wasn't this weird?
Which part?
When Zach is like, why the fuck is everybody acting so like, let's just act like we're people. And like, he calls her Buck. And that's her old nickname. And she doesn't know why, but she immediately bursts into noisy sobs.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And so, like, then people leave the room for reasons.
Yeah, because she asks just specifically.
Yeah, so she can, you're right. So she can talk to Zach. And I kind of love this, but there's also a part of me that was like, Zach, you could have waited 24 hours to do this. He immediately brings up and starts talking about the fact that they have bad blood between them. And that something happened in the past. And then God
But I'm not going to tell you what it is.
And she was like, you can't fucking do that.
No.
I don't remember anything. You don't, like, all of you are like, well, we have to, like, tiptoe around and treat her with kid gloves and get out if that's how you feel, because you you are in the powerful situation here, and it is not fair that you know more about me than I know about me. And so you don't get to say something and then pull it back, retract it, and be like, actually, you're not ready to hear this yet.
Absolutely.
And he's like, you're right. You're right. So he fucking lays it all out, and he gives her like the
Cliff's Notes,
like the long story short. Yeah. Which, like, to be clear, I don't have amnesia, and you're also still not allowed to do that to me. To be clear.
Yeah. I had no idea what happened between them at all at the end of it, other than like she felt kind of rejected, and
no.
they didn't speak for 10 years.
IRL, if you start to say something to me with or without amnesia, and then you're like, well, actually, no, fuck
I'm not gonna do
that. Absolutely not. You have to finish that statement. I don't give a shit. Well, it might offend you. Now you have to tell.
Now I have to know. Now I have to know.
If I might have a negative reaction to it, I promise whatever's about to leave your mouth is way worse in my head.
It's true. It's true. You cannot leave me to my own mental devices.
No, because I'm evil to me. Like,
so true.
I am my own worst nightmare, my friend. You will be the biggest villain in the universe based on what I come up with in my head. And ultimately that makes me the biggest villain because I'm the one actually coming up with it. But we're not going to go that deep.
No, we're not doing any negative self-talk.
Hey, no, it's fine. Not because I learned. I learned. So now what I do is I say, no, you're not allowed to do that because I choose to be kind to myself. And that means bullying you into telling me what you were going to say so that I can't be mean to myself. Yeah, I'm going to bully you instead of me.
Honestly, good choice. People shouldn't retract shit like that. Don't let it come out of your mouth. Okay, so he tells her, like, they haven't spoken in years because he was an idiot. And she tells him that he's been in her dreams, which puts way too many feathers in that man's Stetson. Like, he did not need that ego boost right now. But like, we see a bunch of scenes like with different people coming in and out of the hospital. And he, on Christmas morning, gives her a journal.
Hang on. Before this, Nicole does, in fact, pull Zach aside and gives him a talking to. And she's like, she basically pulls a Nana Buck. And she's like, don't dip your wick, bud. Back the fuck off, okay? Lady needs to get her shit together. I love it because she said, do me a favor. I'm gay as hell, and I can see why she's having dreams about all this, motioning toward the general area of his face. I was like, Nicole, I love it. Also, the side character rep in this entire series, like just the rep, which Rebekah Weatherspoon is a goddess for it anyway, like in every book I've ever read by her. But like, I was like, I love Nicole, the lesbian.
The lesbian agent. I love her. So they decide that she's going to go back to charming with the Pleasant
Boys. Finish what you were saying about Christmas. Because Zach.
He gives her a dream journal. And he says, you loved to journal when we were kids. Like you had tons and tons and tons, and you would just fill the pages. So I thought that maybe you could write down what you're dreaming about and it might help you piece things together. And it's like the most thoughtful. And there's like a little kitty lock on it.
It's like
and it's like a Lisa Frank, just perfect abomination.
It's got a unicorn on it.
Yes. I love it.
Sparkly white unicorn.
I love it. I love it.
And like the cutest thing though is like Christmas Eve, they're headed back to the hotel so that she can rest. Visiting hours are over, and he gets all defensive like preemptively, and he's like, I'm going to buy her Christmas presents because she deserves a Christmas. And like he turns to Jesse as basically like, and you can't stop me. And Jesse's like, I'm not going to stop you. Go get her Christmas presents. Like, take the card, bud.
Yeah, it's really sweet. So they're about to go back to California.
And Zach is already confessed that he still has feelings for her. This dude has no chill.
No chill whatsoever. Because here's the thing, like at the end, she has a very understandable hesitation because in her mind, like, you didn't fall in love with me. You didn't want me until I was a completely different person with amnesia. So like, that's like from the beginning, I was just like, Zach, like, I know, bud, but you gotta slow roll this a tiny bit. And like,
literally everybody tells him to slow roll it.
Yeah.
And he's like, as he's shoveling coal into the runaway freight train that is his emotions, he's like, what? I can't hear you.
Oh, it sounds kind of like a good idea, but it's gone with the wind.
Chugga, 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 chugga.
Yeah.
Choo-choo.
It's bananas. But Nicole and Blair are both like, if you're up for it, you better fuck that cowboy. Wow.
Oh, yeah. Oh,
please do.
Her assistant and her best friend are like, yeah, girl, ride him.
Yeah. So they get to the ranch and they have like 3 mansions that are on a private cul-de-sac.
Pleasant Drive. No, Pleasant Lane.
Yeah, Pleasant Lane.
They have their own road. It's a fenced-in property. They're a little bougie in the Pleasant family.
They're rich, is what they are.
Turns out the reason that they're rich is because their whole family is basically like incredible movie stars
and business people.
Yeah.
Yeah, they're like agricultural business people and movie stars are the sort of 2 things. We'll now turn to hospitality for the ranch itself.
Big Rock Ranch.
And like, I think I might have talked to Rebekah about this when we had our author hang.
Like, I remember.
The dude ranch, going on vacation to a dude ranch is like bucket list shit for me. And this was
she was
fun.
talking about how in the author hang, she talked about how this ranch was inspired by a place down in Los Angeles. And so she's like, one of these days I'll get down there and meet those boys. And like, I want to go to that ranch.
I want to go to there.
I have no interest in owning horses myself, but I would like to go on a little vacation.
No, I understand the upkeep that horses require. I can't. So she meets Miss Leona, who is like a golden age movie star. She's got wigs for days. She's usually in a sparkle. She always has every single piece of jewelry she owns on.
She has like a bazillion custom wigs. And she wears a different one every day. And she always looks like dressed to the nines.
Yeah. Incredible.
What does that mean?
So I don't know. Dressed to the nines.
Wouldn't a 10 be better?
I'm gonna look it up. I bet it's, it's like an old-timey thing.
Dressed to the tens.
It's an idiom meaning to perfection or the highest degree. We know that. The phrase does not commonly appear. Come on, Wikipedia.
Why is it nines and not like... Why is the nines
it's Scots
the best?
In origin.
Oh!
The earliest written example of the phrase is from the 1719 epistle... Epistle to Ramsay by the Scottish poet William Hamilton. The bonny lines therein, thou sent me, how to the nines they did content me. I mean, we also say cloud 9. There's something about 9 being like the pinnacle of happiness and perfection and whatever.
I mean, we are on a 10 degree decimal system. So like technically 9 is the highest degree. So.
Oh no, Sabrina. No, you can't math at me. I'm so sorry.
I'm allowed to math at you. This is my strong suit. I'm allowed to say it out loud. Listener, like I'm speaking directly to
10
you.
Be the highest?
No, because 0.
No, 1 0 is 10.
0, 1. Yes, because that's why you go up.
What is it? A circle?
That's why you go up
Literally,
a digit.
My head hurts right here now.
0 through 9.
Why would 9 be the highest?
0 through 9, then 10 through 19, then 20 through 29, et cetera, and then 90 through 99, and then you have to go up
no.
another digit.
This is like when I tried to tell Michael that I was pregnant for 10 months because it was 40 weeks. And he said, no, it's like they literally talk about 9 months. And I was like, well, like 9 full months. But to me, that's 10 fucking months. No, wait, I think that's the opposite.
Isn't 40 weeks 10 months?
I don't know. We can't do this. We can't. I will actually have an aneurysm.
Anyway, at listener, it makes sense to me now. It makes 0 sense to Melody. Please forward
it makes less sense to me now.
please, if you have any comments, to send to heavingbosoms.podcast@gmail.com. In the subject, put Melody for the if you love yourself, don't look at this,
Melody. Don't you dare.
Yeah, and it'll come straight
Mathematicians
to me.
are here. And I'll just forward.
We can discuss it. I have a degree in math. I love math.
Wow. Oh my.
I do.
Oh, the heebie-jeebies that just went all over my body.
It's my favorite language. It's the only universal language.
Yeah,
it's beautiful.
no love is.
Math describes the universe.
The only universal language. Love.
So anyway, we also find out that Sam stayed in touch with Evie these last 10 years. And moving on.
I just finished Sam's book. It is a fucking amazing. It killed me dead.
Girl, I loved Zach. I would lay down in the middle of the road for Sam.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
Like,
yeah.
Sam is
for sure.
Sam is everything. Sam is mwah.
He's so sensible, and yet he's got like an artist's dreamer brain, you know? Like, I don't know. Sam is the whole ass package, and Amanda is also the whole ass package.
I loved that both of them were like, we want to keep our relationship super private. And I thought that was like really sweet. Well, we're going to talk about this because guess what?
I'm so sorry.
Listener,
yes.
We will be discussing book 2 and 3 on Patreon, but we'll discuss it further in length. But it does make me laugh a little bit that I did love that aspect of their relationship so much because hello, my name is Sabrina. I'm probably never going to be able to date again. Because disclaimer to whoever I would potentially date, you will be talked about extensively on podcasts. So I hope that you are comfortable with not having any privacy because I have no privacy about myself. So disclaimer.
You know what's interesting? I don't have a lot of privacy about myself, but for some reason, my relationship with Michael doesn't really fall into that. Like, I have no privacy about me and my antics or whatever, but
I'll put it this way. I will talk about sex things on podcast, and listener will not know that it's about me and the current partner. They will not know that's a current partner thing necessarily, but current partner will listen to podcast and go, I cannot believe you told God knows how many people about blah, blah, blah. That is not...
Okay,
you
all of that happens.
You realize podcasts are public, right? Anybody can listen, and my response will probably be, does that mean that, like, Patreon is okay? Because where's the boundary?
Oh, man, that paywall is so thin. No, you know what? That just means that everybody knows that they're fucking sex gods. I'm sorry. Oh, I'm so sorry.
Oh, yeah, because I'm not, like, if they're shit in bed, I'm not going to talk about that. I'll keep that to myself, but, like...
I mean, also, you might not date them anymore. You know what I mean? Who knows? Anyway. I
don't know.
So, when they get to the ranch, Evie's like, I really want to get to know everyone, but I also don't want to burst into noisy sobs because I get overwhelmed. So like, I'm gonna go nap is what I'm gonna do.
She goes to bed.
And she has this really taciturn personal nurse who came with her from
Oh!
New York.
Tilda.
Yeah, Tilda's like, she's very Eastern European, blunt.
Isn't it Tilda the
opinionated.
little squiggly on the keyboard?
Oh, I have no idea.
Pretty sure it is.
I don't know. I've only heard of Tildas being dames. Sabrina.
Oh, I've only heard of Tilda's being punctuation. So how interesting our two experiences are.
Yeah, like Tilda Swinton, I think is a name of a person in the world.
That is a name that I knew, but forgot that I knew until you just said that out loud.
Yeah.
Ah, a tilde is the little swoopy that goes over a N in some Spanish words.
Ooh, that's what we call them, tildes?
It's the little schloopy. I knew that off the top of my head. It also means a bitchy nurse ass face.
You fucking hot genius. Ugh.
What's this year's theme again? Oh, scientists.
No. This year's theme is going rogue in 2023.
Oh, this is going rogue. I can't even, well, my going rogue was actually, you know what? My going rogue this year is going to be, that was my intellectual in 2023 moment. So
I like that. I like it. You are an intellectual. I know. I just can't handle it. That's all.
So,
okay. So Tilda's worried because she's doing a tiny racism regarding the family being loud and cooking heavy foods.
Oh.
And she's also very worried about Zach and his wiener. She's like,
yes,
that man wants to put his wiener in her. And like, we should be careful about it.
Everybody is very concerned about where Zach wants to put his penis.
I mean, she had to be taught to tie her shoes. I don't think she's ready for a wiener yet. Like, me too. But her new nurse, Vega, handles it perfectly because she's like, I mean, she's still an adult. So as long as she's comfortable with things, we will facilitate the healthiest interaction.
You have to get cleared by the doctor.
Yeah, you got to, at the very least, get cleared by the doctor.
Yeah, because Tilda only stays for 1 night. Like, she's literally only there to get her through the plane ride until they can find a nurse in California. And then Tilda fucks off back to New York City. Oh, yeah.
Tilda pisses everyone off in 1 night and then just says, catch my farts. Here I go. She really does. She crop dusts the whole way out of there. She does. She doesn't even say goodbye.
I would like to share, though, real quick, that I am laughing because the order of these notes make me laugh. Because this one made me really sad. And it said Evie could feel like maybe there was one side of this memory loss thing that worked to her advantage. She couldn't remember a thing about her grandmother or her parents. She couldn't remember losing them. And my note is, this fucking broke my heart. Literally my next note. Hey, look, melody porn. Because it said Miss Leona's backyard was a massive garden, a few fruit trees and rows of herbs and vegetables.
Oh my God.
And it was just the quick turnaround of looking through my notes and seeing this literally broke my heart. And then melody porn. I was like, oh boy, let's do it.
Oh my God, you're so perfect. Okay, so at some point, like, he comes in to have dinner, but she's already gone to bed because she's still exhausted. Everybody else is left. And it gives Miss Leona a chance to sit down and be like, Zach, stop being so thirsty. There is no rush.
Miss Leona.
Cool your jets.
The best.
Yes, she's perfect. She says, what's the rush? And then like they have a conversation and she says, you feel like you found each other again, don't you? And then she's like, let her come to you. Don't be so damn thirsty. And it's perfect. Oh my God.
Leona. Oh, and then
so we keep cute. Going. Yeah.
Well, because the next day when Evie comes back out, she's woken up and Miss Leona's like, all right, we're going to teach you to cook again. And Evie's like, oh, you don't have to do that. And Miss Leona's like, girl, who do you think taught you to cook in the first place? And she's like, my grandma. And Miss Leona was like, fuck no, that bitch couldn't cook. Are you kidding me?
Amelia Buchanan could not cook.
Yeah. I'm sorry. The quote is, your grandmother couldn't cook for shit. I fucking love. Literally anytime Miss Leona came on page, I almost said on screen, both, my whole day was made. I was like, this is a good day.
Yeah, she's so good. So they start with like a frittata and it's great. that night they're at like a movie night. Oh, and in between all of this, we're getting more of her dreams. Sometimes she's like stuck in a canyon with Zach. Right before this, she was doing a giant makeout with Zach in the parking lot at the homecoming game. But then that turned into like the dark stairwell, and then she tripped all the way down and stuff. Like we're getting a lot of like her brain piecing things together as well. And I really, really loved it.
I did too. Although she comments on this in the end of the book, but like I noticed this in the dreams leading up to the end of the book.
Yeah.
How in every dream that Zach was there before the dream actually ended, he was gone. And like when they talked about it at the end of the book, I was like, well, just rip it out. It's fine.
Gutted. And it's not like he walks away. He just disappears.
It's gone.
Like she looks
away,
else, looks back. He's gone. Oh, they have a movie night that night, and Zach is doing that thing where he's like fidgety because he needs everyone else to go the fuck to bed and leave him and Evie alone, please and thank you. And like everybody knows that's what he wants. It's real cute.
Well, especially because we meet their cousin Corey, and he literally bribes Corey to leave because he and Corey make like eye contact, and he's like jerking his head to have her. And Evie's watching this whole thing. Remember, Evie has no context for any of this. She doesn't remember anything. So she's probably like, what are these weird human beings doing? Like if you or I saw somebody doing that, we'd be like, yeah, get.
Aw,
the hottie wants to talk. Get.
Aw,
like,
yeah.
We're about to get some special touching up in here, okay? Meanwhile, Evie's just like, merp. And meanwhile, Corey's like, they look at each other and she just looks back at him and shakes her head. She's like, And he's like, he opens his eyes and he like nods. And then Corey says, $50 in my Cash App and not a penny less. And Zach's like, all right.
Done.
And she's like, nice doing business with you, chump. And I was like, this is when I fell in love with Corey.
Corey's great. Corey's the tits. So he is like, I should walk you back to your room because, you know, it's pretty late anyway. And she's like, yeah, definitely. And she asks if he ever apologized. And he says that in his mind, he's apologized 100 times. And then he's like, but I don't think I've ever done it out loud. And so I'm so sorry. What I did was terrible. The way I handled things was terrible. And I want to make it up to you for as long as you'll let me, basically. And so it's like a really amazing apology. And then she just blurts out, what's reverse cowgirl?
That's what I saw the note and I was like, oh my God, I forgot that they look up reverse cowgirl together because Blair, her best friend. So like from the get-go, even though Evie doesn't remember anything, she and Blair still clicked like nobody's business. And Blair was like, you should look up reverse cowgirl. And Evie was like, what is reverse cow? And then Blair was like, actually, wait, don't do it. And then she was like, wait, actually do it. You do whatever you feel comfortable doing. And
that's right.
Evie just fucking blurts out. And she's like, let's look up reverse cowgirl. Like Evie, there are so many things Evie did that I've never felt more seen by, like her absolute inability to keep anything to herself.
Yeah.
She is physically and mentally and emotionally incapable. There's no filter
She's a sieve
between brain and mouth. It just like
it's
thought mouth. And I was like, fuck. I need to work on that.
Or do you? Because it does land her dream man. Because he's like, oh,
this is also a romance novel. I'm not going to say it's from experience.
Cool it.
I'm just going to say that I suspect that sometimes not having a filter. Yes. I can make an educated guess that occasionally things will in fact leave your mouth. That I guess, you know what? No, I'll say that it still stands. Not that I know from experience, but that just wouldn't be my dream person.
That's exactly right. It wasn't the right person.
To be fair, if somebody maybe said what I definitely have never said, I would also not be their dream person. And I am the one who would never have.
What
said
would
that
you have
thing.
maybe never say though? What
I'm
was
not
the
saying
thing
it
that you
live
would
on
never
a podcast. Because
But
I
it
can't even
wasn't-
imagine it. I can't
you
even
didn't-
imagine what it would be because I would never. The several times that it's happened. Never.
theoretically.
It wouldn't even cross my mind because I don't think that way.
All right, make a note right now. You're telling me after we stop recording.
I'll tell
The
you
way
what.
she's looking into the distance.
I don't know what you're talking about.
No, you're right. I do want to see your scientific notes, though, about that hypothesis.
We can do that. I'll
So-
take you to my laboratory.
Thank you.
Okay.
So he's
They
like,
exchange
I
phone
don't wanna-
numbers.
Well, no. He says, I don't want to tell you what it is, but we can look it up together, which was a good move, Zach.
Mm-hmm.
Good on so many levels. Good move. And then, he asked for her phone number and she gives it to him. Ooh! And then she looks up at him and she says, I think we should kiss. And he's like, I can make that happen. And it is a good.
It's not pushy, or like fast.
No.
And it was just so deep and lovely and just, oh.
Yeah. It's really good. And my note is, wowza, it's good.
Mm-hmm.
What?
I just laughed
What?
because literally at the beginning of that was the end of chapter 10, right? And within a page of chapter 11, Vega is helping her get ready because Vega also went to bed last night.
Yeah.
Vega is helping her get ready. And this is where I've said, my note is Evie is incapable of keeping anything to herself. I feel so seen. This is not the first time I made that note. It's not the last time either. Because Evie's like, for some reason, the words came tumbling out of her mouth. You're not asking me about last night? It's like, fuck. Somebody, I need a cloth for this mirror. Just cover it up. Jesus Christ.
So then Zach is working out on the field with, I think, Jesse, or maybe they're in the office. I don't know. They're like they're doing ranch stuff. And Jesse is like, why are you like whistling and skipping and so fucking happy? Like, did you lay it on her last night?
Did you lay down some pipe, Zach?
Okay. Wow.
That's basically what Jesse says.
It is. And Zach
Did you
has
dick her real good?
Yeah, that Zach has roughly that.
Why are you
that
so
reaction.
startled by lay down some pipe?
I don't know. I think maybe it was because you were speaking as Jesse, and like Jesse would never. You know what I mean? Except he almost does.
Jesse's way posh than me.
Yeah.
Your reaction though,
I know.
I feel like you clutched your pearls.
I did.
You were like, oh my god. We've said more raunchy shit already this episode. You have said raunchier shit.
I've never heard anything so scandalous. Sabrina speaking as Jesse.
You know that ain't. Oh, have you started the third book?
No, I haven't started it yet.
Oh, you don't know that ain't true then. Okay. Anyway, moving on.
No, I'm certain that behind closed doors he is a dirty talker. I'm certain about it.
Moving on.
But in public, I'm like, I've got goosebumps now. Okay. So he's like, none of your business, but no, she kissed me. She made the move. And Zach demands that they go to their grandmother's house and confirm it with her. Because he says, right now you're treating me like a silent movie villain. I will not have it. It's amazing. And like,
can you imagine anything more awkward as a woman who has no memory and you've just kissed a hottie and then his 6'7", 300-pound freaking giganto of a brother comes in and says, "Did you consent? Did you do the thing? Did you
Yeah. Did you really initiate, ma'am?"
That's the word.
He doesn't say it like that. He yeah. Teamwork. No, he doesn't say it like that, but he is like, "Hey, I just wanted to check on you about last night." And she's mortified, but she's like, "No, I did initiate." And then they go talk to Zach, and like she mediates between the brothers. She's like, "Jesse, am I to understand that you're worried that Zach like won't actually commit to me?" And he's like, "Yes, that's exactly what I'm worried about with Zach. He's married to the ranch. I don't think that he's going to give you his all." And she's like, "Okay, Zach, what do you want to say to Jesse?" And he's like, "I think that my brother should trust me and like know that I'm not that guy." So she's like, "I am an adult and like, Jesse, I want to be friends with you, but like, you can't big brother me like this. It's not okay."
And this is also the point where she really realizes just how close she and Jesse are or were / are. And that as much as Zach cares about her, Jesse also cares about her very deeply in his own way. And I melted because I love a friendship.
Same. It's
especially in like a friendship where, so like in this case, MF romance, F is friend with another M, because I find like that's a big issue that I have in a lot of romances where the female, for example, in this specific instance, in another romance, it would not be okay that she was friends with a straight man.
Yeah. No, and in some romances, like I haven't even like
friends with a lesbian woman, like a gay woman. That would not be okay because this is a potential conflict. Or she does have those friends and it does turn into a problem. And it's just not in this book.
There are some books in which like it's hard to point out, but like once the heroine meets the hero, they basically don't interact with another straight man for the rest
ever
of the book.
Again.
And maybe the rest of their lives. Like
no, they live in a box
crazy.
Now. They have an anti-straight man collar that just beeps.
Yeah.
Meh.
Wee you.
Yeah. It just like screams out things.
Yeah. You're a hot dog for a bun. Wee you. Oh no. So
Did you just and you got on me?
Is that worse?
Did you just say we're a hot dog for a bun?
You're a hot dog for a bun. Yeah.
Okay. True friendship is traumatizing each other.
And then coming back for more.
We're really coming back for more because straight up,
truly,
all of this is Jesse's like, I'm so worried that he's just going to use you and use you and whatever and leave you and stuff. And Evie, after this big, beautiful, touching conversation, says, and Jesse, there's another thing you have to know. I could just be using Zach for sex. And Jesse's like, la, 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 la,
la. Don't make me look at hot dogs differently, Evie. It's not cool. Jesse says to himself.
Must we keep calling them hot dogs? Must we?
That's what Jesse wants to know too. Jesse's fed up with it. So what's happening here?
I do in fact have at least one story of something that has definitely never happened to tell you. Maybe on a Patreon. I'll tell you when we record books 2 and 3. Okay. For it is a thin paywall.
So sleep on it.
But I'm okay with it being just beyond the veil. It's fine.
Fair.
Okay.
So then so Jesse leaves and he's like, oh, you might be using me for sex, huh? And she's like, oh, you never know. And then they do a big old kiss again and it's hot. So now, like, they're starting to do other things to jog her memory. Like, she's looking through pictures of her family. They're like sitting very close to each other on the couch and their legs are touching.
Jesse takes her out to the storage unit where all of the boxes from when Nana Buck died and she packed up the house. That's where all of her stuff. And so she's like slowly bringing things back. And this is where she's getting to see pictures of her parents at their wedding day. And then like picture of her as a little girl. And like she finds all of her old journals and diaries and things like that. And
which
like,
is a
so
gold mine. So then she gets a text from her assistant saying, like, do you remember somebody called Melanie Burns? And she's like, no. And she asks the group. And then Raquel's like, I mean, she's just sending some crazy shit via DMs. And she like shows her the stuff. And it's like, I can't believe what you said to me that night. And like all this stuff. And so she starts really second guessing herself because she's like, Nicole said I'm a nice person and Blair said I'm a nice person. And like, these people seem to like me, but like, what if I'm actually a monster?
Yeah. And she straight up this is around everybody when it happens. And she straight up starts to have a panic attack. And so Vega takes her outside and she calms down and she doesn't go back in. She's like, Vega's like, they can handle everything. And they just take her home and put her to bed. And it was super cute because Evie gets home and she texts Zach that night. And she says, I'm sorry that I didn't give you a kiss tonight before bed. And he's like, it's okay. Hopefully I can come by in the morning and give you a 10 a.m. kiss. And I swooned.
Yeah.
He doesn't. He's not able to because shit hits the fan. But
yes. Yeah, there's like a wedding for baseball.
Oh yeah, the freezer goes out.
It's the one.
And so he has to get up early and go make sure that like thousands of dollars worth of food is fixed and taken care of.
But now she's having really, really fucked up dreams that include Melanie Burns coming out of nowhere and like using a chef's blowtorch on cardboard cutouts of all the people she loves.
While Zach just crawls out of a crevice?
No, Melanie crawled out of the crevice.
Oh, I thought it was Zach who crawled out of the crevice.
No.
Oh.
No, he's just standing there being like, I trust you. I know you can handle it. But then when she turns back, he's just poof, gone. Yeah. So... yeah.
This is when, while cooking, she gets really obsessed with the smell of nutmeg.
Oh my God.
And so many times through the rest of the book, she's like, would it be weird if I just like took the nutmeg and kept it in my pocket? And like, she's like, no, I could never do that. And then multiple times throughout the rest of the book, people comment on how she smells like nutmeg. And I was just like, that bitch definitely has that nutmeg in her pocket.
As she should. If you need to huff some nutmeg, then do it.
She's just huffing nutmeg.
Well, because they start watching. So she discovers nutmeg because they've moved on to French toast for breakfast. She's learning how to make French toast. And then they start having her watch season 1 of the cooking show she was on because she was on season 2. So they're trying to like ease her in. But she's literally just sitting there huffing that nutmeg on the couch while watching the show. Yeah. Yeah.
I'd like to say I had a physical reaction to that scene though. When she started talking about, I did. I fully sneezed out loud. Like I read it and I did like I don't know why, like, because like you react to things sometimes. Like, do you ever do the thing when you're reading a book where you do the thing the character does?
Yeah.
And like, obviously I did not go to the extent of going and getting the fucking nutmeg out of my counter. Cupboard, cabinet, kitchen.
Sure.
But like I did, I was reading it and I went, and my brain, my nose was like, oh, I didn't like that. Achoo! I was like, she doesn't sneeze once because of this fucking nutmeg, and I sneezed because of imaginary nutmeg. We're different people.
I love it. So Miss Leona has to go to like a New Year's Eve party. So she starts cooking with like a bunch of the other side characters. And after dinner, Zach takes her on like a moonlight tour of the ranch. And like they are sitting in the cab of that truck, just being mutually Twitter-pated in a way that was delicious.
Ooh, good word.
And she says, you owe me a kiss, and I haven't decided whether I want you to be my boyfriend or not. So it seems like a silly time to like not give me what I want. And he's like, boyfriend, huh? I thought you were using me for sex. And then they do a big make out.
They do. And then he pulls back from kissing her, I would like to note. And he says,
yeah,
you smell like nutmeg. The scent was coming up from the inside of her coat. And my note is, that nutmeg is definitely in that coat pocket.
It's in there. Or she poured it into a pocket. Like, that is also not out of the realm of possibility.
Accurate. And then this is her first experience seeing somebody who does not, so like the next scene that is a major thing is her first experience seeing people who know her, but they don't know that she has amnesia. And it's her best friends from high school. And she just plays it cool and ends up making it through it. And she felt so powerful after it. And I was like, good for you. Take back your power. My love.
Yeah, it was really, really good. This is when she meets the horse called Steve.
Mm-hmm.
And he talks about his old horse Flex and how the scar on her arm, he says, hey, you see that scar right there? That was from when you fell off Flex and broke your arm.
In a ravine.
And then he says, yeah, in the ravine. And she had a dream about being stuck in a ravine.
With a broken arm.
I forgot about that detail, but yes. Mm-hmm. And then he says, when you were high on painkillers, you told me you loved me for the first time. You said we had to get married because it's what the baby Jesus would have wanted. And I didn't want to disappoint the baby Jesus.
Oh my God. It's so perfect and just so funny, but also thoughtful and just full of heart and love and adorable. And also, Zach said at one point that he pulled multiple carrots out of his pocket for Steve. And that's when I was reminded how much I hate man pants for being man pants, because I could fit roughly 2 baby carrots in my pockets. And he pulled out multiple full-size carrots, and he probably has a graphing calculator and 18 tampons in there as well. And it's just unfair.
I put on a pair of snap pants for the first time this weekend in quite a while.
What?
Snap pants.
What
pants that you have to button and zipper.
Oh,
well, if you don't live in athleisure, like I do.
Snap
you do have
pants.
To button and zipper and snap up your pants.
I've never heard it called a snap pant. Okay,
you're right.
I'm on board.
You're right. No, you're right. Listener was so confused, and they thank you.
No, listener probably got it. I did not get it.
So I put on these snap pants and I was like, oh, the one nice thing is that I'm going to have back pockets and like front pockets. I go to put in my hands in the front pockets and they were fake. They were just sewn on there. Is that, what the fuck is that?
To be fair, and this is a shout out, this is an unofficial lady love. There's a brand of fucking like jeggings from Walmart that are $13 a pair.
Ooh.
They come in at least 27 different patterns and colors.
Nice.
Not that I know the exact number, at least 27 for any reason. But I will admit that I have more pants in my closet than days in the month. So,
wow.
When the mood strikes.
I hear you.
And I love them because they're essentially jeggings, but like everybody thinks that they're actual pants. And I love it.
Great.
And it's basically like wearing yoga pants every day, and I love it. But I startled myself when I wore an actual pair of snap pants.
How dare you?
Because I went to I was doing something and my finger got caught in my front pocket accidentally, because I'm so not used to front pockets. And I jerked so hard that I probably almost dislocated my finger. I did have to ice my hand because I was like, what? And I was like,
So you thought you had been trapped.
I had the exact opposite experience that you did. Yes,
Yeah.
I did. I did think I was trapped, much like the blanket trapped me.
Yes. Oh my God. She got snafu'd by this blanket when we were recapping Dragon's Captive. It was serious business. When I was recapped.
You recapped to an attentive audience.
I did.
Me and the one listener were here for it.
Yeah. So Nicole is still back in New York City being like, I'm going to figure out if Melanie Burns pushed my client down the stairs. And so that's a whole thing that's happening. Meanwhile, Jesse cooks some steaks and they watch her season of the cooking show that Melanie Burns was on. And she gets really triggered by how fucking horrible she was, specifically to her friend Tiffany, the other Black woman who came in second, and her.
And everybody had to reassure her that that's just how those cooking shows are filmed. They take the worst of. It's not a fun show, which is a lie. Have you seen Great British Bake Off? It's a lie. Well, but shows are wonderful when they're lovely to each other.
Yeah. That's not. Yes, exactly. But that wasn't one of those shows.
No.
So then
she also makes herself sick on eggs because she's learning about eggs.
Oh yeah.
She went down the rabbit hole until she saw somebody wash or cook an egg in a dishwasher. And let me tell you, Melody, I also went down a roughly 45-minute rabbit hole of watching people cook eggs in dishwashers because I was like, there's no fucking way that works. And I literally 45 minutes. My YouTube algorithm has still not recovered.
No. Okay, we just started watching Gudetama, the Lazy Egg on Netflix. It's a dubbed Japanese show that is abso-fucking-lutely hilarious. And that egg has the cutest butt I've ever seen in my life. And he's always in a terrible, pessimistic mood. And I highly recommend Gudetama, the Lazy Egg. The kids and Michael and I legitimately were cackling on the couch the first episode. It's so fucking weird and so good. Okay, anyway. So
moving on.
Yeah. So then they kiss really sweetly and they joke about having sex, but the doctor hasn't cleared her yet. And he's like, we seriously do not need to do anything at all. Oh, because she's at his house. He texts her do you want to just come over to my house and maybe just spend the night with me? And she had read her diary earlier that day. And she's like, who's that bitch Katie? Tell me who Katie is. Because it turns out I think you kissed her the summer I was 15. And he's like, whoa.
Oh my God. I'd forgotten about Katie, who I kissed in the summer of when you were 13 or not 13, 15. Yes.
Yeah.
And it was just so cute because they end up just cuddling that night. And
they
talking.
do a big snuggle. And she thinks to herself, she wasn't going to tell him that she declared her love for him in her journals. Because with the way that things were going, there was a really good chance she was going to get to that place again soon. Yeah.
It's cute. This is a swoony book,
cute.
Y'all.
It's very swoony. Yes. We got a motor, though.
Swoon.
Okay.
We sure so then. She gets a hot-ass haircut. She chops all that shit off because her hair was
she gets a pixie cut.
Because they had to, shave a bunch of her head. Yeah. And, they had to, take out her
sew-in?
Yes.
Sew-in. Yeah.
And, so they
fucked up her sew-in
that.
Really
it was a nightmare. And so she's just, chop it all off. So they, do the, sexy, fade in and long on the top, and I was like, I know
it shows
exactly
off
what
her
hair
scar.
This is.
Just
yes,
perfectly.
And she's not hiding it, and it's wonderful. And then get ready, it's fucking New Year's, and it is on TM.
That's right. She tells him that she got cleared that day for adult activities, and she's like, I could be waiting in your bed when you get home.
Yes,
and he eagerly gives over his key.
And then he gets there, they get naked, and she says, wait, leave the hat on.
His DVR. Oh, yeah. Yes. Yes.
Leave the cowboy.
Put that cowboy hat back on, sir. It's incredible.
Talk about cowgirl.
because he like took everything off and then he's like basically naked and he stands there and he looks at her and he goes, should I put the hat back on? And she says, yeah, do it. Oh my God. So they do full penetrative sex right here, right now.
It was
There's
hot.
no, it was hot. It was hot. But
going back to what you were
concerning
saying,
to me.
Why?
I don't know. Cause I was just like, maybe we should work up to that again since she doesn't remember ever having a single sexual experience with another person. Like, I don't know.
I don't know. I would have, that's how I probably would have done it. I'd have gone in with a bang.
Yeah. She was into it. It worked real well. It was great.
But to go back to what you were saying, accurate, finish what you were saying about how she finds the video or she finds the DVR stuff.
Oh, yeah. So she finds all of the shows that she's ever been on is the only thing that's saved on his DVR. And she asks him about it. And he's like, yeah, I couldn't bring myself to watch them, but I wanted to have them for when I was ready. And he basically tells her, like, I told myself that I was keeping other women sort of at a distance because of the ranch. But I have a feeling that it was actually because the person I actually wanted was you, you know? And he says something like, oh my God, he says something like he was going to tell her exactly how he felt tonight because she should have all of him. And it is fucking beautiful. Oh my God. Okay, wait. Okay, my note is he gets home and gets undressed. She's real into that large. Okay, this is a quote. The large bulge just aching to push through the slit of his shorts. She wanted him so badly, her core soaked at the thought of taking him inch by inch. At least her body remembered what to do next. And like, wowza. He's like, and then he's like teasing her clit and she's like, don't make me wait. And he says, I got you. And then grabs a condom. Like, you're right. Like it really was wonderful. And then he says, Happy New Year, Buck.
Yeah, so cute. Although I did laugh at the part where she said, I want you to come too. I need to tell my diary how I finally got Zach Pleasant naked and brought him to his knees.
Yeah. Well, and they both cackle too. It's great. My other note is this is a less than 11-hour book in audio. And my other note is we are officially 8 hours into this book and we have our first
this was a slow
sex
burn
scene. Yeah, this is a Rebekah Weatherspoon mega slow burn. It's wonderful.
It's great.
But I don't think I've ever read anything that's been this slow, you know? Anyway.
I feel like Rafe was, well, I guess it was about the 50%.
Yeah.
Which is pretty average for a romance
80%
novel.
Of this
book. We were at about 80% when they finally boned down.
And it was very appropriate for this book.
Oh, absolutely.
Very appropriate.
If this book had literally, like, if we'd had sex in the first 25%, I would have been like, ma'am.
Yeah. Though I will say, because of the combination of how slow a burn this is, and then the last line of this chapter being that she like welcomes him inside, I was terrified that this was actually a closed door. Like, you know, like a fade to black kind of situation. And I was just like, Rebekah, would you?
Has Rebekah
would you
ever
do
done
that to me?
To us?
No, I feel like no, but I was so worried. And then it went to the next chapter and it was just a point of view switch.
Yeah.
We're fine, everyone. Anyway, so it says, he's thinking to himself, God, I wasted so much time. She was here now. And before the night was over, he'd finally tell her exactly how he felt. No bullshit, no put on charm. She deserved all of him, including the words he'd been too young and too cowardly to say, but no more. It's incredible. Yes. Anyway, he does get her on top, so she does a regular cowgirl. And man, the next morning,
pretty soon after this.
Sorry, one of the pillow talks that they have is she's questioning why she like went on the dish at all.
Yes.
The talk show. And like, why is she doing that if she wanted to be a chef? Because it seems like it involves very little cooking.
Mm-hmm.
And I love him because this is his in to be like, oh, you don't have to do that. You can always stay here. You know, you don't have to do that. You can be a chef anywhere. You can be a chef here in Charming.
Trying to convince her.
Yeah.
While she's essentially
the next morning,
vulnerable.
Yes, absolutely. But the next morning, he comes into the room and he's like, hey, one thing I want you to just like noodle on for a minute is that even though like you do cooking on the dish because you have to show the viewers every step of the recipe you walk them through, but also even though you're not doing like you know, really mind-blowing cooking, you are teaching an entire nation to cook. And like that has a different sort of value.
You're making a difference.
Yeah, so like you know, think about what's important to you now and see if you can find fulfillment in this job that you still have basically. Like it is so perfect.
Because I would have thought less of him, frankly, if he had taken this opportunity to convince her not to go back to her life, because I feel like it's not explicitly stated, but he knows her well enough to know that even though she doesn't have her memories, she would have had a reason for doing something that she's questioning right now.
Yeah, absolutely.
And we find out that she does, because she does. One of the things I love most about Evie as a character is she does not shy away from the hard things. And so, and if she wants an answer, she's going to go for it. And so she calls up her agent and she's like, Nicole, why was I doing this? I don't understand. And Nicole explains it. She says, you wanted to start your own restaurant, but you didn't have the capital. And so you went on the TV shows, all of these things so that you could get the money and get your name out there, because having your name out there would be enough to jumpstart
to get investors. Yeah.
And that's exactly what she was doing. That's why she did it. And it all made sense.
Yep. Miss Leona tries to do a big old school cock block on us.
She succeeds at doing a big old school cock block.
She does. She tells him that nobody's going to shack up on her watch.
Because as much as she wants grandchildren, she doesn't want grandchildren like this.
Yeah.
And that's when I go, oh, yeah, Miss Leona is in fact an 84-year-old woman.
Yeah. Yes, she is.
As much as she's hilarious and like so funny and like entertaining, I'm like, she is of that generation, which I loved, because as much as I love a irreverent, sassy old woman, they still have their feeling. One of my best friends is a 70-year-old woman, and some of the shit that leaves her mouth, I'm like, I'm clutching my pearls. But then like about like just the most random things, you could tell that's a 74-year-old woman. You're like, yep. Yep.
That is
she makes me clutch my pearls, but she also she's not putting up with that shit. She's not putting up with your young millennial Gen Z bullshit. I love her for it.
So listen, they go on a date together. He like takes her out to a special cabin that was dedicated to her
honeymoon
grandmother. Yeah, her grandmother and grandfather. And it's like the most beautiful thing. And then Nicole sees Melanie on the street in New York, like about to go into a Dwayne Reed.
Confronts her.
Okay, I have many problems with this. Many.
Which part?
Okay, so what happens is she goes and she yells down Melanie, and she's like, "You're gonna tell me what happened." And basically Melanie's like, "Oh my God, like you push a bitch down the stairs and like she doesn't even send people after you." Like she's so pathetic. Melanie is the worst. She continues to be the worst. And
she never stops being the worst, frankly.
No, absolutely not. But here's my thing. Nicole is an agent. And like more often than not, agents are lawyers. And
really?
Like, yeah, it's really helpful to be a lawyer when you're an agent. Maybe not more often than not.
No idea.
Yeah, you do a metric fuck ton of like contracts and shit. Like it's really helpful to be a lawyer. Even if she's not a lawyer as well or in her background. She's been around enough lawyers and like I cannot believe she didn't know that New York is a one-party consent state when it comes to recording. Like, you're just going to go up to this woman trying to get a confession out of her without your iPhone voice memo going? You fuck? What are you doing? Like, there's nothing she can do. And it's perfectly legal for her to tape a confession and take it to the police.
Hey, listener, I would like you all to know if Melanie ever has her phone out and you've done some fucked up shit she suspects, she is in fact recording.
Depends on where I am. Because, like, I believe New Jersey is a two-party state.
Arkansas.
I gotta have.
Okay.
Yeah.
I'll put it. If she's visiting me, I am in fact in a one-party state. I will say, in this one-party state, if you see me holding my phone out and I come up to you and I have some shit to say to you, to be clear, I will not remember that it's a one-party state, and I will not be recording. I probably just forgot to put my phone in my tiny, tiny lady pocket. To be clear, you
just can't fit it.
You are safe. You are safe to be an asshole and avoid all repercussions if you do it to me.
Yeah, that's fair.
Please don't take advantage of that.
That's fair.
I'm fragile.
No confessions to Sabrina, please and thank you.
No. I'm the best person to confess to, but just don't do
Not
a
for your
thing
mental
that
health.
requires a confession to me.
Okay, also that. Yeah. Yeah.
But if you do something to me and you see Melody coming up to you, you better know what's in your fucking state laws. Melody's not a lawyer. But she's going to have her phone out of her tiny, tiny lady pocket because she's recording. She's going to take you down.
That's right. I will.
She's my avenging angel.
Yeah. Okay. So then, like,
she gets her memory back.
She gets handed a piece of big red gum, and that is what a perfect detail. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? Like, there is nothing like the nostalgia that overtakes me anytime I pop some big red gum after a while.
But anyway, so she does nom on this thing.
And she has like a hallucination almost, like a sensory memory of her grandmother standing in front of her being like, all I have is this piece of gum. And then everything floods back into it. And it's like, it's this nutty reading experience and like trying to wrap my brain around what that would do to a person and like the mental gymnastics you have to do to like get all of that information download while like fitting the new information that you have into it. Like,
she even said it wasn't even like a download. It was like a blink and it's just suddenly there.
Yeah. All at once. And she's like, and this was the worst. This was the worst part. She was like, when she didn't have her memory, she didn't have to remember how much it hurt to lose all of those people. But now she was mourning all of them at the exact same time, as if it had just happened.
God.
And like,
that'd be hard. Like, just thinking of the people that I mourn in my life, like,
oh yeah,
I'd have to have a lay down.
Oh my God. I would need a bucket of fried chicken, a BLT, and a tub of ice cream.
Yeah. And then Zach notices that something is wrong because he is at the barn and he starts to walk towards them. And then she's like,
doubles over sobbing.
Yeah. Yeah. Like, and she's like, Jesse, you need to get me the fuck out of here. And Jesse goes, oh my God, she has her memories back.
Yeah.
And he and Vega bundle her into his truck and just take off. And Zach is just like running after the car like a sad dog abandoned at the old house that you just moved out of. Like, and just
Sabrina, that was savage what you just did. It's true. Doesn't make it any less savage.
And she gets home and he's texting and calling and like, oh my God, what is happening? And Jesse lies and he's like, oh, she had stomach problems. I'm taking her back. Oh boy.
And so he gets back to the house going to like check on his girlfriend because she had a tummy rumble. But as soon as he notices that everybody else is like silent and very subdued,
He
and then
knows
he
it
goes
wasn't
into her
tummy
room.
problems.
Yeah, he goes into the room, and just like the way that she's standing and packing, he's like, "Oh shit, it's Evie." Like, it's
He
Evie.
remembers.
And the audiobook narrator, her voice is totally back to the way it was at the beginning.
That's
It is
crazy.
It's incredible. It's incredible. Yeah, I said her voice sounds like her voice again instead of the scared baby voice she's been using, because that's I mean, because she was so unsure of herself throughout most of the book. Anyway, so now she and Nicole talk, and she's like, "Nicole, Melanie pushed me down the stairs." And Nicole is like, "I know." And Evie's like, "We have to go to the police like tomorrow. I'm going to be on a red eye." And Vega, her nurse, is like, "No, that's not quite what's going to happen. We're going to slow our roll a little bit and like, loop in our doctors and make sure that you're okay." So when he gets back, he's like, "No, don't leave like this." And he asks, "This is over?" And she says, "Yeah, I think it is." And he says that she's running away, and he tells her, "Don't run away." And like, they just have this knockdown, drag out fight, because on the one hand, she's thinking like, not everything is about you. But like, secondly, you fell in love with me when I was like a scared rabbit. Why would you be in love with me now when I'm like back to the self-possessed like, woman?
I've
like, you didn't love me when I was me. Yeah.
Because as far as she's aware, he hasn't. And he's like, "I have always loved you." And of course, like, and I totally see where she's coming from with this, because she's like, if you've always loved me, why did you and you still reacted the way that you did when my Nana Buck died? You still reacted that way? It's because you loved me, but you didn't trust me to know myself and what I needed. And you thought, but never once did you sit and listen. I was not asking you to take me away from chef school. I was not asking you to derail the rest of my life. You assumed that I would derail my life to stay with you because you lay down some sick pipe. That's not what she said, listener. But like, you saw the future happening one way, and that's not how it would have happened. And instead of helping me through a hard time, and I understand that Nana Buck was important to you too, but she was all I had. That was it. End of my family and
his family. And like, after they fall out, she doesn't really have access to them anymore. Yeah. It's like a text here and there, sometimes a phone call to Jesse or Sam, but like, she lost literally everything that
Everybody.
day. And she went wasn't to Paris. Even asking him, well, because she wasn't even asking him to like be with her. She literally said like, "I love you, but I need some time. And the one thing I do know is that being around you will be really healing and helpful." And he does a bit of a condescending pat on her head. And he's like, "You need to go back to Paris and go to chef school." And then they don't speak for a decade. And she's like, "If you loved me this whole time, why wouldn't you have reached out at least once? You fucker."
And like, it's so true, because like I also understand though, because she asked him to leave her the fuck alone. And he took that to heart. Like, they are a bunch of just dumb little sardine noodles banging into the glass wall.
Yeah. I don't know what a sardine noodle is, but I dig it.
I'm imagining like little stupid little fishies that have less than half a marble rattling around up there. Just bunk, 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 bunk. And like, but to be clear, they're also like 21, 23. Do we expect them to be anything other than dumb little sardine noodles with half a marble?
No.
Bunk, bunk, bunking?
I know. I know. Ugh. Anyway, so she's like, "At the very least, I can't fucking do this right now. I have too
much going on.
I have to go report a bitch to the police. I have to go back to my job. I have to like get my shit together. And so I can't right now." And So then he just starts like despondently laying in fields with Steve, the horse, who also comes and lays down next to him and plays dead.
Mm-hmm. And then Jesse rolls out and he's like, Jesse comes to the fence at one point and he starts hollering at Zach about his man pain because Lila calls it him. He's wallowing in his man pain. And he was like, what the fuck is man pain? And Jesse was like, she said you're wallowing in a way only a real man can. Deep, bone deep pain. No tears, though. And I was like, fuck.
Oh,
Lila pegged him.
Yeah. But then Zach is like, oh, there have been tears. I've just been doing it like at my house and stuff. Like, don't get that twisted at all. There have been many tears.
Private.
Yeah. So finally, she gets fired from her job because they think that she's like a little bit too much drama, I guess. Like,
well,
I don't really understand.
when she rolls into the room, right, into the recording area where they're talking, and she has this brand new alt haircut. You can see the scar. She's not wearing her contacts. She's wearing her glasses. Like, she looks completely different. Like, all of these things. And they're all being kind of weird and like, and it's
I kind of think
awkward.
one of the people on the show was maybe friends with Melanie Burns. Melanie always knew stuff about the show that nobody would know. Oh, yeah,
because she also, like, when she rolled in, she was like, you have to ban Melanie Burns from the studio and any dish-related function. I have a restraining order.
Right. Anyway, so they're like, actually, we're not going to do that. And so she finally is like, I guess I'm going to call Miss Leona and see what she thinks, you know?
And Miss Leona had the world's best advice.
Yeah.
Fuck them.
Yeah.
Yeah, Miss Leona.
Oh, Miss Leona. And so she's like, no, you get to pivot. You get to do whatever you want.
And Miss Leona at this point apologizes to Evie, which I almost cried because she apologized she was like, when Amelia died, I should have pulled you closer. Like,
you're one of my kids.
Wouldn't have stopped you going back to chef school. I had forgotten that the actual term is culinary school, which I did in fact just see in this quote. And that does sound a lot more professional. But anyway, chef school.
I don't give a shit. It's where you learn to wear chef hats.
That's it. Everything else comes with the hat because the hat comes with a tiny rat. Hello.
That's the one. Oh, shit.
So she's like, I should have been there for you more. Like, your mom was dead. Your dad was dead. Now your grandmother who raised you after their traumatic passing is dead.
And I just
let you walk away. I was wrong, and I'm sorry.
Yeah.
And I'm pretty sure that's the first time Miss Leona has ever had to say that she was wrong, because she's always right, to be clear.
That's the one.
This was the one time in her life that she was wrong. Well, no.
That's exactly right.
This is the second time in her life she's been wrong. The first time, which she will never apologize for, was by saying, you can't stick it in.
Oh.
Whether or not she knows, that was mean of her.
That was wrong.
And I would like an apology.
Of her octogenarian self. Don't you bring your octogenarian sensibilities to my uterus.
Hey, not only that, I don't actually give a shit. You do what you want in the background, but on the pages of my book that I'm reading, when he's real good at the diddling, that is not fair, Miss Leona.
That's right. How dare you make this more of a slower burn?
Yeah. By the way, this is when, literally like right after this,
Sam
Blair finds the hottiest hottie.
Oh, yeah.
And I quote, you jest, my friend, but David said we could lie on top of each other butt naked and watch my choice of period drama. Yeah, we could hit up a happening hotspot, but nothing gets my butter churning like a man who gives tax-deductible donations to your local PBS station. And where do I find that person? I want to
He's also a doctor.
Butt naked on top of somebody and eat ice cream and watch... I don't watch anything, but like, I want to watch something.
Or whatever sci-fi show.
I want to watch Our Flag Means Death, lying butt naked on top of your tax-deductible ass.
Yeah.
I want to bite that tax-deductible ass. Where are you? Call me if you're comfortable with me talking graphically about your sex life to an audience of God knows how many. This is a call. Heaving Bosoms Podcast at gmail.com. If you've made it this far into this episode, to be clear, you know what you're getting into.
This
you can't be
episode is
upset.
This is off the rails.
Off
It's been
the
off the
chain.
rails, and I love it. No, I walked into it. Oh no, I walked into it, and it smacked me hard.
I literally thought you were doing it yourself, and I'm so happy.
I wasn't. No, I'm never ever gonna do that on purpose, Sabrina.
Am I the one? Have I initiated every one of the 15 times we've said it this episode?
Yes. I think.
I'm so proud of myself.
You should
I love it.
You should be. You're doing it. You're doing the damn thing.
But anyway, yeah.
Okay, anyway, so
just
the
to
HEA
recap,
is...
you know now. So,
yeah,
HEA.
she's going to bite your tax deductible ass. Sam calls, and he's like, I have an idea. Let's go to lunch. Also,
Yes.
Zach's going to be there. Are you cool with that? And she's like, yeah, I guess I could see the person that I've always wanted to be with for my whole life. And so they come to her and they're like, we all want to invest in this restaurant. Like the whole Pleasant family is just going to bankroll your restaurant. And we got the hottest, coolest, sexiest lady documentarian on the scene. And she wants to do a documentary about you opening this restaurant.
Mm-hmm.
And it's like brain explosion, every dream come true. And then Zach is like, and I'm at your disposal. Like I have 10 years of hospitality experience. I've run the ranch for a really long time. I can help you out as much or as little as you want. But if you want
I'll
me,
move to New York
I'm
you.
here.
I'll go with you wherever you want to go, my love.
I promoted some people back at the ranch, so I'm not going to be there as often.
And Lila.
Yeah.
And look at me. I said Lila for the right name this time. Her name is actually Lila.
Hey, great job.
It was just amazing and so sweet.
Anyway,
and at first she
they
holds
do
back.
Big makeouts.
Well, she holds back for a second, and then she realizes that there's no point in punishing either of them.
Because he says, I want to give you everything you want. And so she just starts listing all the things to be sure they're on the same page. And she's like, I want a big house, and I want lots of kids, and I want dogs and one cat to rule them all. And I want to go traveling, but I will leave those pets at home. And I want all of these things. And he's like, and I want those things with you. And it is swoon-tacular.
And then at the very end of that chapter, this punny bastard, she says, I've dreamt about you too. And he says, pleasant dreams, I hope.
No.
And I gagged.
But you loved it.
But I loved it.
Yeah, I know. It's tough. It's a very conflicting feeling.
And
also, Melanie is arrested in Italy for choking out a bride's aunt.
Yeah.
Which is great.
Yep.
Anyway.
She deserved it.
The end. Great job, Rebekah Weatherspoon. Thank you.
It was fucking awesome.
Yeah.
It's fucking awesome.
Was book 2 even better? I don't know. All I know is that I loved it.
Book 2.
I haven't read book 3 yet. I'm going to read book 3 before next week so we can record.
I think.
Yeah.
No, I won't do the rank until we've recapped all the books. I know my rank.
Good idea. Okay. All right. Good idea.
I know my rank. Well, that's not true. I haven't finished the 3rd book yet. So I'll hold off until the end to actually figure out my rank. And to be clear, this rank is amongst these books alone because these books, even the 3rd favorite of the series, still ranks a hell of a lot higher than a lot of you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Third place here is not a.
This is cream of the crop level.
This is, yes. This is fabulous.
Absolutely. All right. Okay, you show off. Why don't you tell everybody what your lady love is?
Wow.
You fucking humble braggart.
To be clear, were we even recording yet when I did this to you?
No.
Yeah, so to be clear, listener, what happened was before we even started recording, I looked Melanie dead in the face and I was like, I know what my lady love is. And she was like, oh, fuck you, I don't.
Don't.
My lady love.
So go ahead.
Is get yourself an oil lamp. A good old school kerosene oil lamp. I have
Yeah,
always
that was
loved
sexy.
an oil lamp. I've always loved an oil lamp, and I live pretty rurally, okay? Which means that at pretty much any time a cloud sneezes, my power goes out.
Yeah.
To be fair, it's usually back on pretty fucking quick. So I ended up a couple of months ago I started hunting at like antique shops and thrift stores and things like that for old fashioned kerosene oil lamps. Because yes, I could get a battery powered lantern, but you want to know what really fits my little house on the prairie aesthetic? My goals, my dreams? It's a fucking kerosene
oil lamp.
It's a fucking kerosene oil lamp.
Oh, she's gonna go get it. It is sexy.
Look how pretty.
Yeah.
Look how beautiful. I got my little...
It's really nice.
I just love it. I don't even have to have the power out. Like, usually, especially during winter, I find it really soothing that from like 6:30 or 7 p.m. on, I'll just turn off all the lights in my house and I'll just spend the rest of the night by oil lamp knitting because I don't have to have like great light for most of my projects, and I just knit and I read because on my Kindle it has the backlight. I knit and I read by oil lamp for the last like 2 hours of the night, and it's just so soothing. And then I go to bed super refreshed, and it's just wonderful. And
I
like,
love it.
I don't even turn on the lights to go to bed because guess what? This is the oil lamp that sits when I need a lot of light. I have one that has a little handle like a Victorian lady.
Like a Victorian ghost.
When it's time for bed, I blow this one out and I light the other one, and then I wander around my house like I'm haunting it. I'm haunting my dogs. By chemise, if you mean gigantic red flannel moo-moo, yes.
Yeah.
Then my chemise. And I just wander around until it's time for bed, and I brush my teeth, I go potty, I fill my water bottle, I let the dogs out. My neighbors are probably like, what is happening over there? It's been dark there for hours, and now this faint ghostly human in a red flannel nightgown has meandered outside, and then I set it on my dresser in my bedroom, and I blow it out, and then it's dark, and I just go to sleep. And it's wonderful. So get yourself a fucking oil lamp, and also practice pouring kerosene, my friends.
Oh God.
And also,
that sounds
if you realize
dangerous.
that you're going to, it's fine. I haven't died yet. Just PSA, if you're going to get your oil lamps prepared before it's dark.
Oh, for sure. Yeah.
Because doing it by phone light, that's a mistake you make once.
Ma'am, how dare you?
Well, that was like when I first got the oil lamps, and I didn't realize that I hadn't filled them, and the power went out, and it was like late, and I was like, thick. And so I just like turned on my phone light, and I was like, trying to like hold things, and then I was smart, and I went and got my tripod. I literally have a tripod. I went and got my fucking tripod and put my phone on the tripod so that the flashlight, I could put it exactly. I'm intelligent, intellectual, and going rogue. That's my lady love. Oil lamps.
I love it. Okay, my lady love is a little show on Netflix called One Piece. It is based on a Japanese show again, and the live action version is fucking perfection. And it's so fun we're also watching that like one episode at a time with the kids. And it's like, it's so fun on like any age level, right? Because there's enough slapstick and there's enough like, you know, things that kids understand. And there's also just like wonderful messages in it, including but not limited to, because the main character, Monkey D. Luffy, he wants to be king of all the pirates. And he has this like hero, idol, role model called Shanks. And Shanks always told him that he could be a different kind of pirate. Like not everything has to be solved with violence, etc., etc. So Luffy is going around just bumbling around trying to like put a crew together, and he does things pretty much always accidentally or because he's just so adorable that the goodwill of others gets him what he needs, or like he'll save the right person because it's just the right thing to do. And he's always telling people that he's a different kind of pirate. And it's just, and oh my God. And there's also there's also a character named Roanoa Zorro, who is the panty meltingest, just Hottie McBruderson that I have seen in a while. Okay. First episode, I was sitting there and he would do something and I would be like, oh, and then Michael would go, you okay over there? How's your saturation level over there?
He did not.
Oh, yeah. He trolls me about that shit all the time. Then he says it in just the right way so that the kids aren't tipped off at all. So I'm just dying over this fictional character. And he's being like, Melody, oh my God, jeez, you're so thirsty. Look at you. You're losing all your fluids. God, you really need to.
Sir.
Anyway, One Piece is so fucking fun. And like, I cannot recommend it highly enough because his whole thing is like a crew and a ship. And all of that is basically a found family. And that's how you should treat it. Like the crew always has each other's backs, he says. And like, it's just the best. It hits me in all of my spots.
How many episodes are there?
I think there's
9 it's on Netflix?
10. Yeah.
I might have to watch this. I haven't
You
watched.
have to. Truly.
I don't
happiest.
remember the last time I watched something for the first time.
Interesting.
I don't watch things, to be clear.
Yeah, I know.
I've watched I think I've watched Our Flag Means Death for the 3rd time this year, and that's the entirety of things that I've watched this year.
Yeah, One Piece, high recommend.
I'll have to check that out because I love a pirate, and this sounds perfect. I also get accused of cosplaying One Piece a lot because of my hat that I wear every day.
Yeah. He's the Straw Hat Pirate. They're the Straw Hat crew. It's great. And there's this very stoic, like, thief lady who's on the crew. She has orange hair. She's also very hot. It's a whole thing. It's wonderful. Anyway, so hugely recommend that. And then you can find us on all the places. I feel like you can find us on Instagram at Heaving Bosoms. You can find us on TikTok at Heaving_Bosoms. You can find us on Facebook, at Heaving Bosoms. And then there's the cult, the Geriatric Friendship Cult. And I think that's it. Oh, and heavingbosoms.com. You can find our printable Reading Embrace stuff and like all the business over there.
And if you need the email repeated at this point, after it being said probably 9 times this episode, we can't help you. You can't find us there. I can't do it
anymore. Yeah. Hint, it is in the show notes all the time, though.
Or you could literally probably go back like 5 minutes in this episode and it's us.
True.
Correct. I don't know that I've ever heard the email dropped as many times as we did this.
No, I know, right? I mean, you got to get your tax-deductible ass, your tax-deductible piece of ass. We got to get you that. So, I hear you.
So how'd you two meet? Well, it wasn't a dating site, but I do have a story for you.
It's the modernist of tales.
It's the most millennial thing you've ever heard in your entire fucking life. Anyway, so keep being a badass.
And love yourself as much as you love. I don't
laying dramatically in the grass with your horse Steve.
Oh,
Did
Yes,
you just say we haven't said a single funny thing this episode?
Every time we get to the keep being a badass section, I can't remember a single funny thing. I can never remember anything.
Love yourself as much as you love hot dogs and buns and laying down pipe. Bye.
No shit.